All right. It should be working now. So I will say something. I will say something. There we go. So the thing about streaming setups, professional streamer moment. Yes, exactly. The thing about streaming setups is that, oh, I'm realizing the vertical stream has not even switched over at all. Classy. Classy. Just chatting. Hello. There we go. The thing about streaming setups is they are like cables in a drawer. The more you leave them alone, the more they become tangled up and turn into a mess, even though you haven't touched them. Streaming setups are the same way. I can have my stream setup, my OBS configuration, left completely alone for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, come back, and everything is magically broken. My audio devices were for some reason unchecked from the default audio track for my streams. Random devices were muted. Random sources are completely unlinked. So, hello Exeldro. Thank you Finite for the Prime sub. The return of Epos. As classic as it is for me to return with no microphone. Today we are rocking the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X3D, the 16-core 32-thread beast of a CPU that boosts up to 5.7 gigahertz. Got 32 gigs of RAM and Asus ROG, whatever the equivalent chipset is, motherboard, NVIDIA RTX 5090. The stream is sort of sponsored by AMD. They're not sponsoring this specific stream, but they're sponsoring the video that I'm working on this CPU for that we're doing the testing for. So, I'm going to say they're sponsoring it, even though, if we want to get nerdy about it, they're not. I've got a YouTube 4K stream. I've got a YouTube vertical stream. I've got a Twitch 1080p stream. All going at the same time to start out. Sound is still not coming through? That seems unlikely. B stream. Sound is definitely coming through. Sound is definitely good on Twitch and YouTube. So the vertical stream is done on CPU. At the moment, we're just doing GPU streams, but we are going, for the others, but we are going to add some CPU streams in the mix, and I'm going to do crazy stuff. Like, I'm going to open up DaVinci Resolve and start editing 4K and 8K video. I'm going to open up Affinity Photo and edit some photos while those 4K videos are rendering. Maybe we'll pop open some Blender or some After Effects or something. Like, we're just going to start adding load and poking around at the CPU. Because obviously, at this point in time, most of the encoding you can do on GPU makes up for everything CPU-wise. Like, I was doing testing for this video, and I can go on and tell you, I have the video coming. I don't want to, like, keep you all from watching the video, but I was able to do 1080p slow, or I was able to do X264 slow at 1080p, and in some games at 1440p. I was able to do slower, which I've never been able to do in real time, at, I think, 864p. I was able to do X264 slow at 120 FPS at 720p, which is bananas. And I was able to do X264 faster at 4K. And these are with intense games. With very lightweight games or like dedicated stream PC kind of setups, you could probably push it significantly further. So, pretty sick. Any insight when they are going to activate AV1 HDR streaming on RTMPS for YouTube? No. I know they're experimenting with some stuff, like, I should have it enabled right now. I didn't actually check. I was supposed to stream by now to talk to you all about this, and I never got to it. I was really, this happened around holiday season. I was really busy. But my stream right now, if your browser supports it and blah, 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 the 4K copy at least should actually be in AV1. It's showing VP9 on my end on the Mac, but Mac doesn't have AV1 decode. So I wouldn't necessarily trust that. Let me pull up the PC copy here. I don't know if I've even enabled AV1 playback on this PC yet, so it might be busted. But YouTube now has a new pipeline for streams wherein AV1 streams are then delivered in AV1 to the viewer. And so that's really exciting. I'm not seeing it, but I probably don't have it enabled on this rig since I got everything just put together just now. And I'm in Firefox, which doesn't support AV1 playback, so as far as I know. So, yeah, so there's that. Still sick in bed, so will be a moment to check the YouTube side. I don't see any artifacting in my eyes. It's kind of funny. If you watch this on Twitch, at least in the, like, lower res copies, you lose all of the texture. Like, real quick, if you're watching on Twitch, go to YouTube and look how different the stream looks. Because on Twitch, in 1080p, my webcam just looks kind of funky. Like, the colors are a little messy, I'm a little blurry, whatever. On YouTube, you can actually see all of the effects that are happening on the webcam. I'm using the Retro Effects plugin from Finite Singularity, by the way. Got some beautiful effects going on for this theme. We'll switch back to, you know, normal stuff. And we may switch the Twitch stream over to X264 soon. Would you all like it if I did that? Obviously, I'd have to boot it offline for just a sec. But we could switch the Twitch over to X264 and start pushing that. I'm going to switch to my normal just chatting scene real quick here so you can see traditional webcam quality. There we go. Hello. Looks a lot better on the Twitch side, of course. How do we do that? I'm interested. I'll wait for the video if this answer is not coming. For the AV1 stream to be able to play back, at the moment, I think it's still in a beta rollout. So it's rolled out to my channel just so I could test it and show it to you all. But it's not, I don't think it's available to everyone yet. They've just been rolling it out slowly like they do everything else. Got a super chat. Check how much it has with zip bombs before crash. Zip bombs. I don't actually know what that is. Let's pull that up. Zip bombs. I mean, I can interpret. It's some sort of like, yeah. Okay, decompression bomb. I'd rather not crash the whole system and like kill the whole stream. I mean, if it happens, it happens. It's part of the testing, but you know. Not an ideal situation. All right, I think we're going to push Twitch over to X264 now. I just wanted to make sure everything was running. Like I said, stream settings. I don't know why my sub goal says 4 out of 5. Oh, I know which one that is. That's hilarious. It's still there. But yeah, I wanted to make sure everything was working because I knew the second I was like, I'm going to be able to stream today, everything was going to break. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Everything broke. So... Hello, hello. You were summoned to Finite Stream yesterday, but this result is unexpected. Oh, was I? I never saw a ping or anything. The summoning was a bit delayed. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone tagged me or anything. Gotta ping me on Discord or something. I was just scripting yesterday. It is funny. I haven't streamed in months, and you all do a ritual on his stream to summon me, and I show up the next day. That sounds about how my stream schedules go. No, I just repeated your name 3 times. Repeated your name 3 times. It was just delayed by 24 hours. That's hilarious. I'm also noticing I don't have any StreamerBot stuff running at the moment. I don't even think I have StreamerBot set up on this system right now. I have my folders for it, but like my shortcuts are gone. A lot of weird stuff happened with the system recently, so I'm still getting it back where it needs to go. What are your thoughts on AMD GPUs for streaming, the new ones? Encoder-wise, they're really good. I will say I haven't had time to follow up yet, so that's on me, but AMD has reached out and they want us to figure out why the AV1 quality was showing up so bad for me. So we're going to test that, and I know they put out a new AMF version like right around the time my video went live that theoretically fixed all of that anyway. So I will probably be retesting the AV1 stuff. Again, they're good quality-wise. Performance-wise, I only had a 16 gig card, so it was hard for me to compare to what I traditionally use, you know, the 80 tier cards on NVIDIA. Well, the 90, I guess. But it was okay. Frame rate-wise, I'd have to look at the numbers again. Like, you're still leaving some things on the table compared to the NVIDIA cards, but like if you were happy with AMD otherwise and you were just really disappointed with the encode quality, the 9000 series cards are like, you're good. There's still some quirks with the UX. There's still some kinks to work out. But I'm pretty happy with the direction they're going in, especially since H.264 at this point is almost dead. Twitch is almost ready to like kick it. What's the codec for others? Mine is VP9. It's supposed to be AV1. Yeah, I don't... Maybe it's not running anymore. I know I was in a beta test. This was around Christmas time, and I just could not get a stream together in time. But you also have to have Chrome or maybe Edge, and you have to have it enabled on your system and in the YouTube settings sometimes, and it's a mess. What about VA API on open source Linux drivers? Don't know. Didn't test it. Most of my testing with the card was pre-release using a very experimental driver for Windows. So I had absolutely zero Linux testing for it. I could probably go test now if it's been added, but I just... VA API has been fine when I was using AMD for my Bazite Linux rig. Like, it was okay. It was fine. It was a little messy, but Twitch just needs to hurry up with AV1 and HEVC. It's frustrating. I mean, I'd rather... The thing about the Twitch Enhanced thing is that it is a paradigm shift for how, like, the entire Twitch pipeline works. They have basically been rebuilding significant portions, if not the whole thing, of the pipeline, which is why early on, like, clips and VODs completely broke for anyone beta testing this. And, like, on my channel, my clips are still completely broken on Twitch. You can view them on my channel page, but in my stream manager, they do not exist. I have 0 clips whatsoever. I cannot see them if someone made them of my channel on my Twitch channel page because something just borked in the process. Like, they are completely gutting and reworking the entire thing. So while it's frustrating to the users who expected it to happen prior to when they even started testing, I get it. But, like, I'd rather them take their time and get it right. By the way, I am waiting on a very exciting package that is unrelated to the CPU that we will be unboxing when it gets here. Thank you for the Prime sub, the Herman! 39 months. Whoop whoop! I hope that if AMD launches it at a good price and performance, the RX 9050 will be able to run without an extra power connector. I find that unlikely. Might be doable. I don't know. Something in me says that might just be too unlikely. All right. So I think we should switch Twitch over to X264. I know that's bad streamer practice because that's going to boot me offline for a second. But I think that's what we should do. So Twitch viewers, hang tight for just a sec. I'm going to edit my ATEM multi-stream settings here for my Twitch output. Ironically, I can change it. Oh, yeah, I can change it on the fly in the ATEM settings, but I would assume that it doesn't actually work until I toggle it. So I'm going to do that. And if we boot offline, I'll just post in chat when to refresh. And if I don't, that would be fascinating. So I'm going to say X264, CBR 7500. Resize the 1080p, keyframe interval 2 seconds, CPU usage preset. We're going to start with slow. Profile main. If you force quit OBS. Well, I can't do that because that'll kill the YouTube stream too. I shouldn't need to restart OBS. I should just need to restart the stream toggle. So I switched it. I don't think it actually switched over. I can view resource usage. Did my GPU encode go down? I've got no idea. I'm going to assume it's not doing it. So I'm going to turn it off and right back on. Whoop. Whoop. Uh-oh. Okay. Refresh if needed. I am back. I'm at 1080p. We are on slow. X264 slow. Thank you, Adam, aka Slim. Kickass stream Epos. What's up, Oljimanin? Did my comment disappear about the about me being the admin of the CRT PC monitor group? I did not see that comment, so thank you. Pretty cool. Talking about the Facebook group or the Discord? We're back. It worked. All right. It's funny. It's noticeably sharper here. So something I was trying to get at earlier. When I was doing all of my encode tests with the CPU for the video, I was doing, you know, X264 slow, slower, medium, whatever. In some games, like the finals, which is one I was testing just because it's fun, easy for me to spin up and play real quick. What is the CPU and power usage from the X264? Let's take a look. I think I have a desktop scene set up. We are at very high CPU usage at the moment, which is surprising. It's not just from that stream, it's from both streams and other stuff going on. I have too many streams going. Or too many scenes. Just chatting. Game. Pokemon. Live sub count. I guess we can just do solo desktop real quick. Sorry. On vertical, you will not see anything for a moment. So this is with decoding a bajillion sources in OBS. I believe X264 for the YouTube stream, X264 for the Twitch stream. Got a fair bit of usage going on here. Not really having... Looks like finite compiling OBS. Like, not really breaking a sweat. What I was going to say, sorry. Getting really off track. When I was doing all my encode tests, I was doing it in... Words. I was doing it in the finals, which is a pretty visually intense game. And X264 slow still looked like complete ass. Like, it just looked really bad. And so I did a quick encoding with NVENC, and it looked fine. Like, it's fascinating how long we put X264 slow up on a pedestal. And now that it's actually reasonable, I kind of still don't recommend doing it. Like, I still recommend sticking with GPU encoders, especially since at this point we're so close to not needing H.264 anymore. I don't know. To be expected, it mainly uses the non-X3D cores for some of this stuff. Once you get the gaming load on top of it and stuff, it'll pick them up, and that's the cool part. What kind of internet connection do you have? Gigabit fiber, thankfully. I think I need one of these 9950 X3Ds. Stop making me want to spend money. Never. Wait till my video comes out and use my link in the description. Cha-ching! Alright, so. I'm going to check my vertical settings real quick here. No wonder things were crazy. Yeah, that's a fair bit better here. Alright, vertical stream should be coming back. That was bananas. What? I forgot I had set that up. That was supposed to just be a test. So we were doing AV1 CPU, X264 CPU, and then AV1 GPU all at the same time. Wow. Okay. Coalition Chris, 9950 X3D. Urgh. That poor CPU. I mean, it was handling it fine. That's ridiculous. Okay. It's still grinding at this. That is hilarious. I have no idea why everyone on the forums for the last decade have recommended X264. I literally don't understand. See, people get so obsessed with... So, the issue. Okay, something you need to keep in mind. With audio video tech, we had a period of 10 to 15 years where nothing really changed. I'm talking about the MPEG 2 into H.264 taking over kind of era. So, you know, very start of the 2000s all the way up into arguably the mid-2010s. Very little changed. Camera gear, in terms of like what mainstream advice should be given. Camera gear, encode settings, software side, the software to use, the settings to use in that software. Very little changed. And so the gray beards, as I jokingly refer to them, that built up all of this institutional knowledge and spend every day in the Doom 9 forums, built up this right way to do things, and got very locked into that right way. And because there was so much advice given based on what was true for so long, it becomes very hard for people to pivot away from that. Much of the, I mean, especially in the professional broadcasting scene, like, changes take a really long time to kind of roll out, trickle down, proliferate into the space. And so you still see like local sports broadcasts in different areas or whatever, like they're all still buying up 1080i camcorders and using those for their streams. Like they're still on this older workflow. And when it comes to that kind of advice, for years and years and years, GPU encoding was this weird thing you didn't really want to mess with, and CPU encoding was the way to go. And if you're doing archival work, like if you're just encoding offline for your archives or for just local captures or whatever, arguably you might as well go with the best possible option that might be a little slower. But if you need real-time, fast-paced with a bunch of other stuff going around, the trade-offs of GPU encoding was worth it very quickly, even if the quality was slightly less. And now we've reached a point where the quality is the same or better than you can do in real time with the CPU. Now with AV1 and stuff, that has changed. Like SVT AV1 kind of knocks the GPU encoders out of the water sometimes, but it's also still really hard to do the higher quality CPU AV1 presets. So the CPU processor-based encoder for AV1 that's available in OBS, there's two. There's AOM AV1 and SVT AV1. And from everything I've seen, the people who obsess over this a lot more than me all seem to prefer the SVT implementation. Now this comes with CPU usage presets, kind of like X264, but they're numbered. And so the lower number is harder to do, but higher quality. It defaults to 8 in OBS, which is already very intense for a lot of processors to do alongside any other workflow. But dropping it down to any of the lower numbers is still very difficult. Even on this CPU, the 9950X3D, I did test this. In intense games, I still really couldn't push it past 8. In easy games, I was able to push it to 7 and even 6, which is the slowest and best quality option available in OBS right now for this CPU AV1 encoder. In lighter weight games, I was able to push it to 6, and it looks amazing. But it comes at the trade-off of being super hard to run. And so for more intense games, even on this processor, it's not super realistic. And so you're going to see people still relying on the GPU encoder for that, because you're still getting a very efficient encode. Yeah. The GTX 10 series did change a lot for GPU encodings. It did. It was more competitive than the 700 series, but it still lacked in many ways. I'd say the real paradigm shift where a lot of people finally started being convinced was the 20 series, when we got that new encoder update after like 6 years. And the quality was so much better. And then it's gotten very minorly better over the years through software changes. And then 50 series is actually a decent amount better at this point. What's good, Frozen Fusion 365? Have you checked out how good are Apple VT hardware encoders, specifically HEVC and ProRes, compared to NVIDIA 5000 HEVC and AV1? So I've been wanting to do that. I wanted to include it in my quality testing for the 5090 and 5080 video. I ran into some issues where I wasn't able to get scores with it properly because some weird configuration. And I know there is like one setting. Rodney, formerly of OBS, now of Twitch, who's in our Discord server, constantly talks about it. There's this other setting available for Apple's encoder that wasn't documented well that improves quality significantly that I think is coming in a future OBS update. The Apple HEVC and H.264 encoders are not amazing quality. The quality really struggles. The encoders themselves are set up pretty weird. Like you've got, like even if you set it to CRF, which is like the constant quality target mode, you just have a quality slider. So instead of setting like a value of 14 to be nearly lossless, you have to go up to 100% quality. Like weird little quirks like that. The ProRes encoders, if you have M2 or up, are incredible. They can do insanely high bit depth. They can go fairly fast. Like I can do 8K encoding sometimes if I have a fast enough drive. I can do 4K 60 without problem most of the time. Those are really, really good. I wish I had a ProRes accelerator card for Windows at this point. But not only the RTX 20, but also the GTX 16. Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm gonna switch back to. So I was waiting for this moment. We have switched both the YouTube vertical, even though it was already on the CPU, and Twitch over to X264. I'm going to switch now to my crazy Space Hay CRT filter scene, and I want to see if the encoder starts lagging too much, because this is a real like brutal test for the encoder. We've got, yep, there it is. Spike of encode lag. We're dropping frames, dropping frames. Frame time is just under 16 milliseconds. It's chugging. Oh. It might balance out. I think Twitch is going to suffer here. Yeah, Twitch is dropping frames. This is we stopped dropping for a minute. Did we balance out? No, it's too much. It's too much. That's so funny. This is too hard to encode. X264 slow in real time. You can see it was maxed out. That's so funny. We can just do this scene. I just wanted to see how much it would punish it. I see what you mean about the visual quality between Twitch and YouTube. YouTube seems more detailed while Twitch is more softer. Yeah, I mean, part of that is Twitch only has 1080p versus 4K on YouTube, but 4K gets that higher bandwidth for the stream on YouTube, on top of me sending AV1 in the first place. So, wish there was a filter that reduced motion blur like on CRTs, like black frame insertion for live streams. Okay, nice. I was wondering what would be better for a small power efficient recording machine. I mean, yeah, if you're just recording, then you're fine with Apple stuff. I would still go with it. If you're doing live, if it's more talking head stuff, like what I'm doing right now does not need the most efficient video encoder in the world. This is easy to encode overall. But if you're doing sports or high, fast action gaming while live, I don't think Mac is the way at the moment. M4 might be better. I haven't tried it yet. My Mac Studio is the M2 Ultra, so like I'm a couple generations behind now. But also, as of this Friday, I will have only finished climbing out of debt that started from buying this M2 Ultra Mac Studio. I'm not about to upgrade anytime soon. This is my forever machine for as long as it lasts. All right, so we are demonstrating that we have a buttload of streams going. Now I am going to pull up DaVinci Resolve, and we can switch on over to like my PC gaming scene. Should have the desktop. Yeah. Oh, I'm a little not centered on that frame, but that's fine. I know YouTube vertical's mostly just getting me. Let me see what vertical scene I can switch to. PC cap. Yeah. All right. The floating cat was moving smoothly. Well, I could see in my preview at least that my face was like jerking a little bit, but maybe it was just struggling to play it back. Optimize neural engines again? I just did this last time. I should not need to do this again. This takes a really long time. I'm going to skip it for now. So here we are loading up, and I guess I will move OBS to this monitor so I can try to see what's happening. I'm going to pop out my chat window. All right, so this is a timeline with 4K, H.264 and H.265. I've got 8K raw video here, and we're going to be able to edit this while we stream, I'm fairly certain. I'm going to make a copy of this timeline, actually, because I need this timeline saved for my benchmarks. Benchmark. Right-click, duplicate. We'll call this one stream test. That should be fine. Yeah, that's 8K. Oh, that one's not raw. That one is 4K H.265? 8K raw. 60 FPS. With color grading. I can start moving stuff around. I can go fast mode. This is bananas. Alright, so since we are doing CPU testing, and we're already like pushing it, I can see the vertical stream is suffering. The vertical stream is suffering a little bit there whenever I was playing the video. Fascinating. Twitch seems to be fine though. We're going to tell this to render. I'm going to do... Oh, I had that backwards. I got to fix my script. Hold on. I got to make a note of this. That's why I like doing some of this live and like demoing some of the things. What is with my camera and my vertical scene? In demoing some of these things, I catch mistakes that I make sometimes. So we are going to render a ProRes 422 HQ. Yeah. 422 HQ master while we're streaming. I'm a live streamer. Racing games. Is 10 megabits per second good for YouTube? Probably. I would try to do HEVC, because you most likely have a graphics card that supports it. And then 10 megabits per second is fine. I would probably boop it up to 1440p for YouTube, just to take advantage of that higher higher bandwidth transcodes that YouTube gives to those higher res videos. I don't know why Resolve decided to derp out. Witness, ladies and gentlemen, a rare DaVinci Resolve crash in its natural habitat. This happens so rarely. This isn't even like a CPU problem. Like, it just did not want to update the queue and then freaked out on me. It's not even killing the oh, come on. Kill the process. So now CPU is freaking out. Encoder overload on everything. There we go. Oh, my graphics card driver crashed. Oh boy. Are we still live? My GPU driver crashed. That's not even the processor's fault. There we go, we're back. Am I still live on YouTube? I am. It stopped the recording and then started everything else up. That's so weird. Video and audio didn't hiccup for me. How is that possible? My entire GPU driver crashed. Okay. All my streams are still live. but our usage is way down. What happened? Do you see that we're so much lower now? What was running in the background? Was it a Steam update? We'll close Steam for now. Obviously, we'll need a game. Why is our usage like... I don't understand. What was... So the recording ate up so much CPU usage? It shouldn't. It was... I just hit start recording again. Because it was still going. Yeah. I am so confused. Now we have so much more headroom. Maybe the vertical stream didn't switch off of AV1. And then when it crashed, it switched. That's super weird. We have so much more headroom now. What? Okay, now that we have this headroom, I want to see if my crazy just chatting scene will work for Twitch. I do not entirely understand what has just happened. Alright, we're back on this crazy scene. Watching our CPU usage. Now we can handle it for the Twitch encode. What? Okay. Cool. No problem now. Is your RAM maxed out? It was. Now it's not. So something was running in the background. Uh-huh. Okay. So now we have all the headroom we need. Holy bananas. We're gonna open DaVinci Resolve again. What? This is crazy. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the preview of the stream playing. I don't know. Okay, so now we're doing X264 medium for vertical, X264 slow for Twitch, GPU AV1 for YouTube. Alright, so I'm gonna do... make that be always on top. Is that not an option anymore? There we go. Just make... I don't know why it says 100% there. We're clearly not using 100%. I think the task manager reporting is busted. No, it's just saying that's 100%. Or 32. Okay. I don't know. That was so weird. All right, we're just going to put this here above my webcam. We're going to try this again. That's 4K H.264 or 5 into 8K RAW. We're going at double speed. This is fully color graded. And we're going to try to render it again. ProRes 422HQ, which is all CPU, super intense. Twitch is using the CPU Kino on here as well. You have hardware info 64. Probably not installed on this machine right now. Oh. Maybe? Where is this at? OneDrive. We can try it. Always keep on this device. This is going to be a very old version. Oh, I don't have OneDrive installed. I'm not worried about temps. Someone did ask what my cooling solution was. I have a Corsair H150i Elite Capellix, I believe is the ridiculous name. All right, now we're getting encoder overloaded. Oh, nope, it's fine. So this first pass here is doing the audio normalization, and then it's going to encode the video. It's not encoding at 870 frames per second. Do you try the Resolve 20 beta? So on my Mac, where I do most of my work, I am running the Resolve 20 beta. I haven't done, like, most of the new features I'm excited for aren't really present yet. Okay. So we've hit our peak. We get little bursts of encoder overloaded. But it's still fine. We are encoding 4K 60 ProRes 422HQ. X264 slow for 1080p 60. X264 medium for 1080p vertical. My camera is stuttering a little bit, you're right. Just a tiny bit. This is crazy. And you can see we are maxing this CPU out. I can download hardware info. Oh boy. Portable. Can I run it from 7-zip? Probably not. Maybe? Oh. UAC prompt. Sorry. $77 hottest temp. Yeah, so I got like a 240 mil AIO from Corsair. 75. Running perfectly cool. This is actually cooler than my 13900K that I had in this system before it ran at. Like, that is bananas. And I guess we'll just open up Affinity and start editing photos as well, right? Photos are another thing that is supposed to be benefited by the second generation 3D V-Cache on the Ryzen 9 9950X 3D. I'm not even going to get Affinity open before Resolve finishes rendering. Everything's running really cool. Since on this version of the 3D V-Cache, the cache is actually stored below the cores, it's supposed to be better for cooling for both the processor cores and the V-Cache. That's according to AMD. I obviously cannot verify the structural integrity of the processor. Affinity? Oh, it spawned on my teleprompter for some reason. Alright, let's find a photo from March. Hopefully this is not inappropriate. I can't preview raw files. in Windows. It's not opening at all. Oh, there we go. So we are editing a raw 45 megapixel photo or 20 megapixel, I don't remember which. In Affinity Photo, we're rendering 4K 60 ProRes video. We're streaming an X264 slow and medium and AV1 over GPU for that one. Like, it does not get any better than this. I think Resolve just finished. So the previous render time for this with nothing else going was 2.5 minutes. So we kind of added 2 minutes to our render time by doing everything at once. But like, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. If you're doing photo editing, video editing, and rendering and streaming at the same time, I think you can afford for your export to take a hair longer. Fascinating. And I have a bunch of browser windows going for all my stream stuff. I am on cloud 9 right now. But Resolve 20 beta add full support to RTX 50 encoding, decoding. That might improve some performance. Also fix the optimized neural engine pop-up. Well, I am on a beta. It doesn't really show it. I'm on a beta from the NVIDIA 50 series launch that had support for that. So like it's fine. And besides, I'm specifically testing CPU encoders here. So not a huge deal. How much RAM do you have? 32 gigs in this system right now. I'll be swapping back to the to 64 gigs soon. I'm just using the kit that AMD provided with this. Yeah, I don't... This is bananas. I want to see if my package got here yet. I really want to unbox this on camera. I think it would be really cool. Or on stream. Supposed to be here by 12. It's 11:10. Usually, it's a FedEx package. Usually they get here a lot earlier. Still not delivered yet. I may go check on it before I end the stream, because sometimes I don't get the notification until a lot later. This is crazy. So I'm going to be honest. I set out to do, obviously, testing for this stream with multiple streams and all of those things. I expected some element of it not to work. I expected to hit some threshold where the stream would fall apart. And I'm like, well, this is unrealistic in terms of what one person would do anyway. We did not do that. I'm going to do an H.265 CPU encode here. If I switch back to the scene so you can see it. If I edit this encode, you can see here we're using the native encoder, not the GPU encoder, the native CPU encoder for H.265. I'm going to render that one. That one's a little harder. It took a little longer the first time. We still got our streams going. I'm going to keep poking around at this mediocre photo here. It's just a raw picture, something to mess with. Zoom in, zoom out. Obviously, again, you do sacrifice like something in your workflow when you're doing this kind of thing. But it doesn't have to be the entirety of what you're doing. Looks like we had a big spike of encoder lag for a second, but like now it's fine. Stream down to 14 FPS, but still chugging. Yeah, I think it's okay now. It's like it had to kick up and... Okay, so that's something that keeps happening too. Is every time I throw an insane load at it and it starts chugging for a minute there. Okay, we got a little bit more encoder overload here. It's like the CPU does a good job of load balancing that back out. Yeah, we are losing frames, but it's still going. That's crazy. Obviously, you should not be rendering videos while you're streaming in any context with any encoder. Like that's just not a smart workflow. But it's fascinating that it works. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it because someone did point out that timeline performance is obviously more important. But like that is perfectly preserved here. Like I can seek around the timeline, no problem. I can start playing here, jump over to here. I can zoom this in even more. Keep going. I'm gonna undo that because this is not the testing timeline. Start playing, trim it, like completely butter smooth. Always found rendering in the background sometimes had frame skipping issues in the final video. That does not happen with Resolve. I plan to upgrade to the 9950 X3D, and I'm very happy to see the performance you're getting. I'm hoping I will be able to get it later next month. Sweet. If you do, keep an eye out for my video on it coming in a couple weeks, and use my link. Wink, wink. Do you know why OBS keeps disconnecting when on 5G, but never on Wi-Fi? 5G is not super reliable, but... Oh, OBS freezes and needs Task Manager to end it every time. Nope, I do not have the answer to that one. That would be a question for the OBS support Discord or forums. Over on the vertical side, how did you come up with the name EposVox? What does it mean? It's kind of embarrassing these days. I got my name earlier in my YouTube career, about 13 years ago now, when I was still doing gaming videos under a much more cringy name. I was known for my voice. I very much played it up. I had a broken microphone that kind of emphasized the bass even more, and I'd start every video and I'd be like, alright guys, I'm EposVox, and well, I wasn't EposVox at the time, but I'm Ted Demolisher here, and today we're playing some Halo 3. And I'd do these like really dramatic voices. I was just noticing that your voice vibrates my desk. Yes, exactly. I'd get comments like that and got called the epic voice guy. This was back in early meme days when there was a homeless man that got filmed doing like radio movie trailer announcer voices and got really famous because of it. And people were like, you're the golden voice guy or whatever. And so I needed a name that was more catchy and wasn't cringy leet speak and whatever. And we settled on the Latin translation of epic voice. These days it's kind of silly, but it's been around for 13 years, so whatever. Yeah, at this point, we can just do Q&A. Like, I did what I needed to for the stream for the CPU. I expected to run into more troubles. In terms of setup, obviously, this is not the scene to demonstrate that, but webcam-wise, we're using the Logitech MX Brio, which came out a little while ago, but I never got around to looking at, and it is the most impressed I've been with a Logitech webcam in quite a long time at this point. The vertical scene, switch to my... Oops. Like, you know, I've had a controversial relationship with Logitech's webcams over the years. The MX Brio is the most impressed I've been with one in like a decade at this point. They did a really good job with it. The mic I'm using is the Logitech Blue Yeti Studio. So it's a dynamic mic, but it has a mic activator built in, so you can feed it phantom power and get the extra gain. Sounds pretty good. What's for dinner? I have homemade pizza in the oven right now. I'm jealous. I'll probably be making pizza later in the week. I have homemade chili going in the crock pot. That's what I'm having. All right, I really think I want to go check on that package. I really want to open it on stream. I'm going to wait just a little bit. The FedEx guy usually texts me too, but I did not. I don't know. Sometimes a package is left and I'm never notified until like an hour later. Yeah, I'm going to go check, see if it's here real quick, because I want to see if I can open it real quick, and if not, then we'll come chat some more. Get your questions going in the chat. Be sure to sub with your Prime subs and your Twitch subs and all of that jazz. I do want to start streaming again more. I am working on, at the moment, I have a 4-camera multicam setup being built in my shed, my workshop at the moment, so that I can start doing streams when I'm doing maker stuff. I want to do a whole bunch. All right, I'll be right back. I have returned. Hello. Be like that dog that watches the window for the mailman. I do that when I'm expecting big packages. It did not arrive yet, but it may arrive soon. Debating upgrading my gaming streaming PC from my 5950X to the 9950X 3D, or getting a 9800X 3D for the gaming PC and taking the 5950X and turning it into a streaming PC. Still trying to figure it out. I will say dual PC setups are very complicated. They add a lot of hassle to figure out with wiring, managing it, juggling it, and you do need a whole separate system. Like you have like a CPU and a motherboard, but then you'll need more RAM, a power supply, another graphics card. So it depends on what your goals are, where you're at in your streaming career or whatever. My quad GPU water-cooled PC agrees. Oh, okay. The cables alone, yeah, it's a mess. And that's kind of the angle I'm taking. Sorry, I have really bad allergies today and my eyes are itching like crazy. I should not be rubbing them, but sometimes I just can't resist. With triple monitors and eye affinity with CRT in the middle. Okay. But yeah, like, that's kind of the angle I'm taking with the video on this processor. That, like, I was in the process of moving to a triple PC effectively stream setup where I had my Mac Studio, I had my gaming PC, and then a Threadripper rig for just the streaming. And I may still kind of end up in that direction, but with the 9950 X3D, you don't really need to. Like I think we've very much established at this point that it can do what most people need for a stream. We can do some gaming to test some stuff if you want. I know game stream parts really don't do well on my streams, and that's fine. Y'all see enough people playing games on stream, I think. Wow, just changing the view of Task Manager added a ton of CPU usage. I don't understand why Task Manager itself has a ton of graphics card usage. Super weird. Okay, someone mentioned being like the dog that sits in the window waiting for the mailman. I do keep an ear out whenever I hear what sounds like a big truck driving down the street, because then it's often a package being delivered if I'm expecting one, and I just heard one. So I definitely just had that dog moment of like, I hear a truck. Is it the mailman? Is it the mailman with the package? Is he bringing the package for me to my door? Should I go check again? Trying to figure out if there's anything else I should cover here. If you have any questions about the 9950 X3D, let me know so I can just throw them in here for the video. I think we've covered just about everything. Not 100% sure what CPU usage means to Task Manager. I think it means memory throughput. What? No, it's core usage. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what it means? And usually gaming systems get upgraded a lot more frequently, so your gaming system ends up being a much better encoding machine than your stream PC. I do see that frequently. Like, people will be like, I want to do a dual PC, and the GPU they reserved for their second, their stream PC is a much older card, and it's like, dude, you would get so much better quality if you just did single PC stream. Like, there's some stability benefits to dual PC with regards to if your game PC crashes or a game memory leaks or like uses a ton of usage or whatever, your stream doesn't have to freak out. But most people are not running streams that are that, for lack of a better word, important. It's not that mission critical. Like, part of the crashing and the floundering of streams is very much part of the quote-unquote charm for a lot of people with this kind of indie content creation scene. Hey, Bo's been following you over on YouTube. How's the 9950 X3D for single PC streaming and gaming just for 1440p? We should probably head over to YouTube and just rewind the stream and watch everything we've done today. And otherwise, I have a video coming on it. But TLDR, very, very good. Mind-blowingly good. Like, I already had a premise of how well I thought the processor would perform based on what I tested offline, and it actually blew my expectations out of the water here. I'm thinking settling with a 16 gig card only, 4080 Super or 5070 Ti level. Not a bad call. i9 14900K is goodbye. I'd kind of go 13 or 12 900K if you're going that route, but it's hard to recommend that over the AMD CPU at this point. Cool, did the motherboard matter for this build? Not really. It's a I'm on... What is this? Hold on. Let me grab the box. I pretty much exclusively only use Asus motherboards in my builds these days. It's not... I have very little, like, any sort of brand affiliation with them. And the package was delivered! I have very little, like, connection with them personally. And it's not even... Like, I've had some bad experiences with some really old Gigabyte motherboards. But, like, the Asus ones just always end up being the ones with the features I want and stuff. So for this build, we've got the You can't see this because of the filter. We got the ROG Crosshair X870E Hero. My big complaint about the Asus motherboards is they have a bunch of different ones on, like, each tier. And they're all named ridiculous, so it's hard to figure out. You can get, like, the blah 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 gaming Wi-Fi, or the blah 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 E gaming Wi-Fi, or the blah 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 gaming. And trying to make sure you get the exact, like, drivers and BIOS and stuff is kind of annoying sometimes. All right, the package is here. I'm gonna go get it for real this time. BRB. I'm so excited. I am so excited. Okay. This got delivered. Why am I overexposed? Hello, webcam. There we go. This got delivered in a freaking Pelican case with like years worth of stickers all over it. There's some real charm to that. It's so rare that I got a package directly delivered in a Pelican case. I gotta get these zip ties off, and they are beefy zip ties. I gotta go get my wire cutters. Hold on just a sec. This is awesome. I got little tiny wire cutters that I use for my 3D printer. Hopefully they're enough. I have more in the shed, but I don't want to go all the way out there. Is it the Ark from Indiana Jones? It's the Ark of the Covenant. Okay. This will be very exciting for a couple of you, and probably not super exciting for the rest of you, but la 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 la. Ugh. Oh, it's so tiny. I expected it to be so much bigger. That's what... Never mind. Wow, it is a lot smaller than I expected. I know, I'm just digging a hole with this. I got it. This is the Canon C80 full-frame 6K cinema camera. This is like nearly the dream camera for me. I get to borrow this for a month. Yeah, that's a lot of Pelican for that little camera. For real, though. There's not much in here. They were asking what lenses I wanted to borrow for it, and I don't need to borrow lenses because I already have lenses, but battery has a charge. Let's pop a lens on it. I knew that truck that I heard was going to be FedEx. I was talking about it. That sensor's kind of a little dusty there. Where did... There we go. That's fine. Alright. Oh, that's an EF. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Boom! Anamorphic lens on here. I'm gonna have to buy an SD card that supports the RAW format because this does not have CF Express like my R5C does. Is this it? There's the cards. Ow! I just shocked my mic stand. Hopefully that didn't take out my audio. I've had that happen before. So card slots are like weirdly on the grip here, which is kind of cool. But yeah, my R5C has CF Express, which does a lot better for RAW formats than SD. Alright, camera on. Oh, I gotta set the date, really? All right. Forgot how crap the close focus on this anamorphic lens is. But yeah, this is like my dream cinema camera. Are you going to use it as a webcam? I absolutely could. So it's got full-size HDMI on the side here. So we definitely could, just as a joke. It also has USB. I wonder if they put the typical webcam mode thing on the USB port. That would be hilarious. I'll check out the menu real quick. Basic, same menu as the shutter mode of my R5C. I'm curious about sensor mode. Yeah, there is still no open gate. That's so disappointing. That is really disappointing. I haven't seen it in any of the videos about it, but like, I could hope. It's a lot smaller than I expected. I would love this to be as like my run and gun like A shooter, and then use my R5C as the B shooter. I'm not gonna afford this anytime soon, but it's got Ethernet full size for control over network, DC power in. We got 2 mini XLR inputs for mics, SDI output, 3.5mm mic input, headphone, remote, USB, HDMI. Not too shabby. But yeah, I could play with this for a month. I'm gonna have to go buy a special SD card to shoot the formats I want in it, which is whatever. But basically like a slightly modified version of the R5C. Pretty slick. Where would one find Stinger transition graphics if one were making a stream with analog style aesthetics? I mean, you could hire an artist or make them yourself, but there's not like a good place to just have them. Envato Elements has a lot of cool stuff that you could modify to make look more like analog-y, but the dilemma with those kinds of questions is anywhere I could suggest that would just be readily available for you to get that kind of stuff, then tons of other people would already be using that stuff already, so it wouldn't be as appealing to have in your own stream. I'll probably do a stream in the future where I show the C80 as a webcam. That would be hilarious. I guess I'm going to go for right now. If y'all don't have any more questions about the CPU. I'm going to try to shoot my video for this today. I already have it scripted. I just got to make a couple tweaks based on what happened here. My kiddo's super sick. I may have to pick him up early from school. And my eyes are still itching like crazy. I even got eye drops when I got the package. So I'm going to have to settle that before I film. But I'm hoping to go on and knock out the shoot for this video today. Thanks for hanging out with me in the stream. I know it's been a really long time. We'll have more soon. I'm trying to get back in the swing of it. Yeah. Remember to be kind. Rewind. Over on Twitch, we will go raid Finite, but on YouTube, it is over. Bye-bye.